They say you don't call on Google Hangouts. You don't breathe into the mic. You don't go respond to those work emails, cause you don't mess around with Jim and do, but after D.
We're going to have to get Jim back on just because of that line. There are going to be so many people who are like, who the fuck is Jim?
Once I'm hoping to have like a more confirmed sort of setup as opposed to what I have now. But when I do, I want to make like an actual recording of it. But I want to take Mike Hanley just yelling Jim at the end so that we can properly give the meme its dues.
That's fair. Hey guys, welcome back to the Turntable episode 22. It is the season finale.
Happy 2026. By the time this comes out, it'll have already been the new year.
It should actually be releasing New Year's Day if we get this out on time at least.
Yes, well, hope to be part of the New Year's Day tradition. Go to some levees, have some great meal with the family, and watch the finale of the Turntable.
Levees? What the fuck? Is this a
so levees are I think they're like a Lebanese based holiday, but every New Year's Day it's basically just like a massive pub crawl. People go to different restaurants and they get like appetizers and whatnot. As long as I've worked in restaurants, that's been a thing.
Oh, well, cool. All right, so we've got a really great episode for y'all today. We've got, I would say, a good range of albums.
Yes, range would be the best word for it. Lot of instrumentals today.
A lot of instrumentals.
Yes. So if you are not, so Cody, if you happen to be watching this, I'm just going to warn you now.
Turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off.
Yeah. All right, but let's start bringing our guests in. Some of our favorites. First off, let's bring in the wild Australian himself, Jake Marangoni. I'm so sorry. How you doing, buddy?
I think I've done enough to earn that title. No, I'm doing quite well. I'm very chill today. It's funny. I love being on the show, and I love trying to get my music sort of knowledge and to sort of spread out and see what type of music I could be a fan of. So I enjoy being on the show. That was my number one takeaway when listening to all these albums was like, not that they were all instrumental albums, but there's a lot of instrumental tracks that I found very interesting. But very happy to be here after I begged Andrew to be.
I was about to say, you messaged me directly being like, dearest Andrew, I have the greatest album that we need to talk about on the show. What did you bring to the show today?
I brought one of my favorite albums from one of my favorite eras of music, the late 90s electronic, sort of the 20th century, and we're going to go into the digital wave of the 21st century. I'm picking Moby's big breakthrough album, Play.
All right. And next to the panel, it's another one of our absolute favorites. Probably next to Rue, probably the most reoccurring panelist, I would say.
Host number 4. Yeah.
Host number 4, yeah. It's Bill Carriola. Bill, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing all right, thanks.
All right.
What did you bring to the table today?
I brought, sticking with my theme of always going, landmark record, sentimental favorite. It's a landmark record this time. I'm bringing 1990s Repeater from Fugazi. So
nice. Okay, so it's Fugazi. I was going to say Fugazi the entire time.
It's Fugazi. It's always Fugazi.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. And finally, Brooklyn, correct me if I'm wrong. They had the highest scoring album of season 1 of the Turntable last season, correct?
Yeah. Yes, they did. With the Watch Your Step, but Ted Hawkins had a score of 9.375. So ranked first out of 55 albums.
So we had to have him back on. It's Hank. Hank, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing so good, and I am honored to have received the invite, and I'm hoping I can keep bringing the heat like I did last time. I feel like the expectation is high. I'm going to do everything in my power to keep raising that bar.
All right. I'm glad to hear that. So what did you bring today?
Today, I brought us a little taste of some SoCal blues rock in the form of Rival Sons. It's not their first album. I know we got a lot of debuts here too. It's not their best known album, but it's the one that I fell in love with, how I was introduced to this group. It's their album, Head Down.
All right. Brooklyn, what did you bring today?
We went late 2000 ska with Better Late Than Never by the Slackers. And it's actually because somebody in this band.
It's 1996.
Oh, 96. Why did I think this? Spotify says 2008.
Spotify's stupid.
It was a remaster. I was completely thrown off by that too.
Yeah. Okay. Chris,
You know what it is? It was reissued in 2008.
Okay.
With 3 extra songs.
That makes a little bit more sense then, yeah.
Yeah.
And I brought a little indie pop album called Ames by I believe she was like Taiwanese American Vienna Teng. But we're going to actually be starting with Jake. So Jake, you told me you had to be on the show to talk about this album. Tell me why.
So the last 2 albums I picked Madonna's Ray of Light and Regina Spektor's Begin to Hope. 2 albums that I have a lot of favorite songs from, but never really fully listened to the album. This is an album I know 80-90% like so religiously have listened to almost every song on repeat. This is just a quintessential album for me, I guess. In high school, I think electronic 90s Fatboy Slim, that's my era. That's my favorite. That was what really I was a fan of music-wise. And Moby, watching a lot of movies and hearing a lot of his songs feature in a lot of films just also really made me become a fan. There's just something very experiential, and I love that he's someone who plays with sampling. I love samples, obviously. Fatboy is the best, but Moby's really good with that, and there's a lot of great pieces in the album that just be reminded that there are a lot of great African-American singers that he was able to bring back for songs like Honey and Natural Blues and Find My Baby. It's just so many really great uses of sampling that I just think is clever to create new beats, and we'll go through all of them, but just it's just one of my favorite comforting genres is that 90s electronica. It just takes me back.
I was conflicted about this album. One thing that I will say off the bat that I loved, I think the production on this album is absolutely incredible. Like, just from a sonic level, it sounds beautiful. It's incredible. So I understand why it is it's held in such high regard because of that. And there are some songs that I really enjoyed a lot. Like Honey was really cool. I really liked Why Does My Heart Feel So Bad? There was like a really nice somberness to that one. Body Rock was, one of those like I don't want to say dance floor, but like it's one of those ones where like the energy behind it is so propulsive. And then there were other songs that felt like the video game music for like a Skyrim knockoff, where it felt like it was just kind of like background noise for like a medieval themed game. And it kind of just faded into the background because of that. And I don't know, man. There's a lot of elements that I like in this, but that kind of dragged me down. As like it kind of started to feel like new age music to me in that regard.
I get that, but I love that.
And that's fair. And
I love Enya.
I was about to say Enya, not Laurie McKenna. who did the Mummers Dance?
Oh, Jesus Christ! Wow.
You know exactly who I mean when I say
Look
that.
it up, people.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and there's also, I'm sorry, I'm assuming some of these songs have Moby singing on it.
A few at least.
Yeah,
There's
no,
a couple.
he needs to not get behind the mic. I'm sorry. Like whenever he himself would actually pop up on a song, I'm like, dude, I get it, but like, no, this isn't for you. So, but all the other
Put a pin in that. I'm putting a pin in that.
Okay.
I'll go next. I mildly disagree with you, Andrew. Jake, of the 3 albums that you've brought, this is my favorite so far. To kind of touch on the first 2 songs, Honey to Find My Baby, I really like how they use that like blue-eyed soul sample and kind of mixed it with like the house. Like it's a really nice sample, and I also want to dance to it. Porcelain I thought was really pretty. It reminded me like of I think it was like Bruce Springsteen's, so it's the Streets of Philadelphia, that like that kind of slower song he did later on. Kind of gave like a similar tone to that.
Did Brooklyn just make a Bruce Springsteen reference? What is this?
Yeah, no, that's like when I first heard that, that's what it kind of reminded me of. I did not remember Southside coming out in '99. I thought it came out when I was a little bit older. So it was a pleasant surprise to hear that song. I think it kind of hits like the spectrum of the album, of like the kind of the genre in particular. Rushing has a really nice sort of dreaminess. Run On has this really nice sort of barbershop-esque swing style. I don't know about anybody else, but Machete sounded straight out of Train Spotting.
I still
Absolutely.
Yeah. But there's a reason that this guy gets picked on, and it's near the end of the album. And I think he gets like he was kind of the guy it was fun to hate before Nickelback started, I think. But yeah, there's definitely, once we get into least favorite songs, there's definitely a reason why he got made fun of for a little bit.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
By all means.
Okay.
Please be on my side, Bill.
Spoiler alert. I know usually every time I do one of these, there's that one album I'm going to go whole hog on. That album doesn't exist in this whole lineup. I actually really enjoyed everything, even the stuff that's usually not my thing. I kind of love this record. I haven't listened to it in like 20 years or so. And I remember because like I was never big into like electronic music, but I had a roommate who was, and he was like super into like Aphex Twin and stuff like that. He must have worn out. If you've ever listened to it, the soundtrack for Human Traffic is fucking mint. Yep. Great movie too.
Michael Campbell gave me the DVD when I stayed at his place.
Dude,
I
swear to
still
God.
haven't finished it.
It's so good. You should.
I gotta finish it. It opens with a Fatboy Slim song. I was like,
yeah. But so he listened to this one a lot, and I tangentially became aware of it, and I didn't realize, goddamn, this is just solidly a good time. And when I listened to this for this, I threw it on while I was doing housework, and it was so nice and calming, and it's just an assault of like so many different things all happening, and it's just like I don't know how this guy's brain works, where he can just pluck all this stuff and somehow make it cogent, but he does, and it's really amazing. Like you get off to where it's a lot of like old-fashioned like Americana, like blues folk. You start off with like Honey and things like that, and then you hit Porcelain, and it's just like a warm hug. And I love that song. Spoiler alert for later. And one of my favorite things that I know about this record is it's by far Moby's most successful record, and it shows. And to bring up your point about the production, this was the last thing he did at his own in-home studio. This was all done in this dude's fucking apartment, which makes it all the more impressive that this sounds like it could have been churned out of some like high-end studio. This goes on to sell 12 million copies. Also holds the distinction for being the most licensed album in music history. Every single 18 songs on this has been licensed almost 100 times across everything. And that bugged me a lot when I found that out. I'm like, oh God, you really milked this cow for all it was worth. And then I saw like all the things he did with that money. Like he donated it like to a lot of good charities and to a lot of good causes. Like this album really helped out a lot of like good causes. And I will never begrudge him being able to do that. So Bar, I'm going to disagree with you. This was actually a joy to come back and revisit. So my only gripe is towards the last back half, you start to feel the length a little bit, but maybe 2 songs cut off, and I think I'd be entering flawless territory. But sonically, this is just impressive, to say the least. And I am not like an electronica, like trip hop, like person at all, but I appreciate the craft that went into this. And it was actually really nice to go back and listen to. It was like my most pleasant surprise out of everything of like, oh, I forgot this was actually fucking incredible. So.
Well, and to take it away, finally, it was a real surprise for me because I have to concede something. Before going into this, only knew one Moby song. Electronic is not just something I'm not a big follower of. It's a real blind spot as I'll listen to everything type person. Electronic is not something that hits my channels very often. So I knew Extreme Ways because I'm a big movie guy and I have watched the Bourne series. And if you watch the Bourne series, you've heard that song. Exactly.
So good.
5 or 6
So good.
times. But it works. It works every time. So when Bar says that he should step away from the mic, that was really funny to me because the only Moby song I knew has him singing the entire time. It's singing.
Is it We Are All Made of Stars? Is that the one?
No, it's
Extreme Ways.
Extreme Ways. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a
and it's his very, very 90s. It's just spoken word. It's very kind of, it's all the ennui and all the boredom of a post-war America it kind of diluted into this song. And so when I found out that he was so similar to Fatboy Slim, who's someone I do listen to, that was a shock right off the bat. So I really did love both Honey and Find My Baby in a way that I wasn't expecting. It reminded me a lot of R.L. Burnside, who was an album I almost brought. He was an old school blues guitarist in the 70s and 80s. And then his son got into making beats for hip hop tracks and remixes and stuff. And so took all of his father's old recordings and redid them. And I'm sure you've heard Let My Baby Ride. You might just not know that that's what it's called. But it reminded me so much of the early tracks in this. Porcelain, this was the first time I'd ever heard it, so I really loved it. It makes sense that it is his biggest track. And I will agree that while the songs near the end lose a bit of their kind of individual identity, I feel like it's very much like it fits the theme. Like I didn't feel like it was out of place all that much. I thought it was just a kind of nice. I didn't have to check my phone to see what's the next song was playing or if the next song had started. I was just kind of letting it wash over me. But I will say my one in the middle, I found there was a little bit of kind of just a tonal kind of back and forth with like Southside and then Rushing and then Body Rock, which are all like songs that I enjoyed. Southside not as much, but then smashing straight into Natural Blues, which is another highlight of the album for me. It just felt like it was missing the kind of tone that the beginning and end set in a really nice way. But I was really surprised by this. I didn't know what Moby was going to bring me. And it was a plus hour long sonic experience that I was just able to kind of enjoy and feel very comfortable with.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Bill. I think if you like snip off like 1 or 2 songs, I think that the flow of this album actually is a little just it works better and it doesn't overstay its welcome.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, but like otherwise,
I'm taking that pin out. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm going to talk about it. So I think the best song on the album is Porcelain, and I think part of that is because of Moby's vocals. I gotta just put it out there. I think if it was any other context, like I think it fits the vibe of the song. Is his voice.
That's the one that I feel does best utilize his voice.
I think The Sky is Broken. I think that's his voice as well, and I will agree with you on that. I don't think that fits. I'm not a fan of the way he's tonally gone for that.
Yeah, that's the one that's like kind of like spoken word, like Pink Seafood
It's
kind
very
of.
Lou Reed.
It reminded me of the end credits of Trainspotting. That's just the guy saying the James Bond movies.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think that one was okay. That's one of the ones that kind of like dragged on a little too long. But I thought he was okay on that one. I'm just a sucker for soul singers, so like when you compare him to all of the other vocalists that like whose voices pop up on this album, I think that I'm just comparing him a little too heavily, except for one song where he does sing, and we'll talk about that one. Any final thoughts on this album before we move on?
I just want to shout out a couple of songs. Run On, I think is a really good one. I love the way that opens with the piano piece, and that sort of maintains throughout the entire song with the sampling. But I do just want to shout out Porcelain because just this. I don't know if anyone knows this, how he sampled and how he created the song. It's such an unique use of sampling. He took an orchestral piece from I think the movie Exodus.
Yes.
Exodus.
Yes.
Composed
the
by
Auto
Alex
Predator
North.
film.
And there's a little piece of the orchestral that he reversed to create that ambient sort of I don't know whatever you want to describe that sound as, and it's just he added a couple beats over it, did the vocals, and created I think his signature song. If we're being honest, when it comes to Moby, it's either that or Extreme Waves or Natural Blues, but it's he's just I think just really clever. I think that's why I've always just been a fan of the way he samples music.
It's funny because I have the Exodus soundtrack on vinyl. Oh, it's such a beautiful soundtrack. That score. All right, so Jake, this is your album. Give us your score, your favorite song release.
So my score would be it's a 9.8. I do agree with there's a couple of the little problems that I would give it. I do think some of the back half does start to drag, even though I pretty much love 90%, 95% of the songs on the album. I would agree with that. My favorite song is Porcelain. That's just the one I've always connected with. It's in my top 10 favorite songs of all time. Absolute banger. But I do think Run On, Body Rock, Honey, this is so I could just go on and just say all of the songs. My least favorite is The Sky is Broken because of just the fact that I'm not really a big fan of that. I don't think it connects with the rest of the album.
I'm going to go next because I think I'm going to be the lowest score, but it's still going to be a 7.4. There's enough on here that I really do like, and as I said, the production itself, the actual mixing and layering, and it sounds gorgeous. My favorite is Why Does My Heart Feel So Bad? That one, just that somber atmosphere just fits perfectly. Southside I don't like Southside. I don't like that one at all. That's the one where I'm like Moby. I'm like, dude, you need to step away from the mic, step away from the lyricism, because this is kind of bad. Musically though, good. Let's go to Brooklyn next.
I'm giving this an 8.7. Had a pretty good time with most of it, and I'd probably go back to re-listen to it. My favorite one is Body Rock. It's of the songs on here, it's the one that I want to dance to the most. Just that sort of that rock backbone, but then the strings kind of sitting on top of it, and then the little key section as well. That really enjoyed that. The least favorite is the Sky is Broken. because it's just really creepy. When the song first came on, I initially thought of like, that like spoken word part in like Rockabye, where it's like kind of cringe.
Oh, oh, that song.
That's the first song
You
that came
mean
to.
like when it starts to when it ends? You mean that song? Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Hey, it is a great chorus. You just got to cut out the verses and just
The
get
all
to
of
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, Hank.
I'll say it was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had never experienced Moby in full before. I don't know if I'm a convert to the genre because of it. And for that, I'm going to give it a 7.6 for me. Favorite song? I do love Porcelain, of course. I really like Run On. I like it's a traditional American folk song. It's been covered by a million different people, but I really like what Moby did with it, especially when you compare it to the kind of unreleased Johnny Cash version that I think is also pretty well known. It was on his posthumous album.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
It's really good. It is really good. And I'm like, I just don't know if it's better than that. But I will say, and I completely agree that it belongs on a Train Spotting soundtrack. I'll go with Machete, if you will be my favorite. And then least favorite, I'm going to also back Southside. It just felt like that was the one time Moby was maybe trying to do something that he would be expected to do rather than something that is like so totally him. It sounds like it kind of shot at the radio when there were songs that were just better than it, that kind of naturally became that that kind of identifiable song of the album. So I will stick with that.
And Bill, I know you're not going to play by our 0.74 standards, but what is your thought?
8.5. What do you think of that?
Fair.
Yeah. I met you guys halfway. Gave you a point number for some bullshit. So, but no.
Yeah, I'm traditionally a 1 to 10, but I'm
Yeah.
willing to vibe with what we've got going on here.
I don't vibe.
Fair enough. See, I'm not going to just make it out of 100, right?
It's arbitrary. I don't know. But anyway, halves and holes. I'm a halves and holes kind of guy. I'm very meat and potatoes. But yeah. It's definitely an 8.5 for me. This is classic for a reason. This is Moby at his pinnacle, and you could definitely tell. Like, I know after Animal Rights, he was in a bit of a lull, but boy, this is the bounce back of a lifetime. To put out the greatest thing you're probably ever going to put out. Kudos to him. So good on him for pulling that off. My favorite, I think we can all agree, Porcelain's fucking immaculate. I love that song. Mm-hmm. It's just it's so wonderful. Just hear it, everything. I can't say enough good things about that song. And I'm also going to echo everybody else. Southside, I hate it. I don't like it. And funny enough, Moby also wasn't really super thrilled about it. He didn't like the way it turned out. He didn't think Gwen Stefani's vocals were all that great. But like the label was like, well, she's pretty hot right now. You got to push that. We got to make that a single. And like, it just goes to show Gwen Stefani ruins everything.
Damn.
Oof.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I make fun of the trad wife? Oh, whatever. I don't care.
I know. You know what? I was going to make an argument, but then I remembered where she's at in the world right now.
Yeah.
And, I'll let him.
She
have
took
it.
a ska band and said, you know what? Let's get rid of the fucking horns. Really smart.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, that's all right. All right. So
no, I don't like Southside. Yeah.
So Brooklyn, where does that put us?
That gives Play a score of 8.4. Inside of the top 20, just above The Arc Android by Janelle Monáe, but not quite as good as 24 Karat Magic from Bruno Mars.
Okay.
Well, that's insane. Okay, fine.
To compare those two is really apples to oranges, but fair enough.
Okay, so Bill, you are next. Tell us about your album.
I will just be doing just repeater. We don't need to do the 3 songs. That was an every issue later. I don't know why it does that. So, yeah, it's fine. We can leave it, but explore your incompetence, sir. So, oh my God, could you imagine if I was like that?
I will say I didn't mind Joe Number One of the 3 songs.
Actually, no, I agree. Joe Number One, I was like, yeah, that's actually pretty good.
That's pretty good, but it's not in my number one. It's not my favorite, so I'll
Yeah.
pass it.
So Fugazi. This is I'm thrilled to get to talk about this band. So, like I said in my beginning, this is the theme of just like landmark record, sentimental favorite. This is landmark in every sense of the word. So I will give you the rundown and then everything about it. So Fugazi is basically Washington D.C. punk royalty. They are just so many members from so many iconic bands. You have Ian MacKaye, who was the lead singer of Minor Threat, who one of the most, the fucking posters right there, just show. So one of the most influential bands ever, and they have less than an hour of music. They coined the term straight edge. Like so many things could just be spoken about that band and his impact on the whole subgenre as a whole. You have members from that, Rites of Spring, like Dag Nasty. It is a murderer's row all in one band. It's like a fucking super group. And like you shouldn't have 4 fucking great people in one band, but they do. And when they formed, there was like a lot of the earlier stuff was all amalgamated into what was the first record, which was 13 songs, but that is just a collection of EPs. So we don't really, that's just like a compilation, but that's where you get Waiting Room. And that's kind of like what got them into like a lot of the conversation. And the genesis with the whole band was, and it was Ian MacKaye, after the band he was in Embrace, which was kind of like a forgotten step to post-hardcore / emotional hardcore emo, which is a great record. One day I'll bring that one on and we can just wax poetic about that one. He got tired of being in bands. Like he got tired of the way it operated. And what he set out to do was like, I don't want to be in a band anymore. I want to work with people who want to make music. And that was the philosophy they went into it. They just want to play. So he collects all these people together. He gets Brendan Canty, Joe Lally, and then Guy Picciotto from Rites of Spring, who was like an unofficial member at first. He was kind of like their Flavor Flav at shows. He would just kind of hop around and like do some yelling, and eventually picked up a guitar and just became the 4th member. And the process they would go into writing is these guys are essentially a jam band. They come in with bits and bobs and pieces, and they mold them together. And they're like, oh, we'll take this, move this here. And then, okay, I think I can write words to this now. And then we'll just figure out whatever. And that's the process they would go in with. And so they go in, and they had honed a lot of these songs for a few years. And then they churn out Repeater, which was on their own label, Discord, which is Ian MacKaye's. Because the thing, and this is one of the things I want to get into this band. It's not only are they like incredible musicians, I think they are probably a group I respect more than most because they are absolutely stick to their ideals kind of group. They have an edict they go with. It's like they are very anti-corporate rock. They're very, we do this ourselves. Everything is DIY. The label was run out of their house for like years. When they toured, and they toured constantly, you never paid more than $5 for a show. They refused to like put a price tag above it because they always said, like, if I pay more than that, like, I feel like I'll get ripped off if I don't get my ass rocked off. But if I pay $5 and like we suck because we're humans, like you only have $5. So it was $5 for a show, $10 for a CD, and they famously had 0 merchandise at all. In fact, they would send out cease and desist letters because people would try to make knockoff shirts all the time, and they would just send letters. And there was a printing, and I just love the story. I'm sorry, because I just want to talk about this band more than this record. We just gotta get into it. So there was this t-shirt company in Boston. This guy was making knockoff shirts, and they send a cease and desist like, "Hey, you cannot make Fugazi shirts. Stop doing it." So he prints out as a joke a shirt that says, "This is not a Fugazi t-shirt," and starts selling that. And they get wind of it. And Ian MacKaye calls the guy. He's like, all right, I can give you points for creativity. I'll give you that. So here's what we're going to do. Since you're not going to stop, we'll let you make this specific design. Figure out what you would give us for royalties, pick a charity in your area, and donate everything you would give us to that. So this shirt sold God knows how many, and all the money went to like a women's shelter in Boston. So like just, and that is the only technically piece of merchandise they've ever had. Other than that, nothing. So these guys have been together for a lot of years. They jam a lot. They get together, and then they crank out their first actual record, Repeater. And it is unlike anything I think I ever heard when I heard it. Because these are guys, yes, they came from like very like punk hardcore, and that is in kind of DNA, but you see all their other influences that kind of start to bubble out, where like it sounds like each person is doing their own thing, but somehow it all gels together miraculously, and it just works. But like everybody is like a frontal assault. Like when you get to the first, like when you get to Repeater, it is like, all right, you're getting these like a lot of noise and static, but like then there's like Brendan Canty, and that drums is just going, and then Joe Lally is smacking you in the face with like one of the best front to back bass lines for a song I think I might have ever heard, and that's like where we go. And then they immediately go into what they like to do a lot of random instrumentals. This band fucking loves them. There's so many of them, and some of their best are on here. And goddamn, and just every song, it's just I had a hard time when I had to come back to like, well, which one of these is my least favorite? I'm like, I don't fucking know if I have a least favorite. I finally landed on one just because I had to, because I know I did, because I don't think you guys would like ever accept. No, there's no bad songs on here. And while there isn't a bad song, there is my least favorite song, and it's okay. But God, Turnover, like I find it hard to articulate how much I just love this, and I love the fact that there's no frontman to this band. It's all a trade-off. Like you could get one song where Ian MacKaye and he's doing his thing, and he is completely the opposite of the way Guy Kyoto sings. Whereas like Ian is very much like almost like a drill sergeant in a way of like he is just authoritatively hammering it in, where Guy can give you these like very quiet introspective moments, like even though there's some raucous noise also happening, but his vocals lend more to when everything kind of slows down just a little bit. So when this thing comes out in 1990, while not initially at first a big success, it ends up becoming like a huge thing. It like got a lot of radio play on a lot of rock, like college stations, and this is like the precursor to what would come next year in the absolute explosion of alternative music, because record labels noticed like, hey, this band put out their own record with their own money and have generated an insane amount of buzz all on their own. Like labels started to court these guys, and they never told them to fuck themselves, because they never did. They never went to a label. They never signed. They were like, no, this, because we know like they'll want to like shoehorn us into something that we just aren't. Like there's no real rhyme or reason to what we do. Like, and that's the way we like it. Like they famously never had a set list. They've never written one set list for any show they ever did. They would know the song they were going to start with, and whatever happened is whatever song they played next. And it's amazing how much that even comes through in this record, of like where it sounds like, oh, songs just blend somehow right into each other, but you could also move them around and it would sound just as right. Like, and that is fucking insane. If managed to pull that kind of sound off on a record, God bless this band. And so there's a direct line because of this, where labels started noticing what was going on in DC, what these guys were doing, and then what other bands are doing. Like, and then also, like, I think Soundgarden had just been picked up. So, like, just before this, around the same time. And then all of a sudden, DGC is picking up Nirvana. And you could honestly pinpoint this as, like, this is kind of like the opening salvo to what 90s rock would be. And which is like one of my personal favorite genres because I grew up with it. And yeah, it is just stellar craftsmanship front to back on this album. I fucking love it. I will stop talking because I will keep going. But yeah. I did almost bring their last album, The Argument, only because it's in the turn of events of like, well, that shouldn't fucking happen. It's their best record. And they went out on it. And I don't remember a time where that's ever fucking happened. So they technically haven't broken up. They've just been on indefinite hiatus since 2003. But
Bill, we will talk about going out on your best album as your
fair
last
enough.
record
But
for another...
holy shit, fucking repeater rules. So,
all right, guys, who wants to start?
I'll go first. As a bass player, I loved the shit out of this. This, as a bass player, you need to listen to this album. Overall, what I love about this is how they play with different rhythms, so it doesn't feel like this, like kind of like the monotonous punk records that you hear. There's a lot of examples where there's a great bass work, but like Bill was already saying, need to give Joe Lally and Brendan Canty their flowers for the work that they do throughout this whole thing. Repeater, like you were saying, Bill, I love, like, it's the toms in the drum arrangement that keep it very fresh. C Fisted is another one. Two Beats Off, Reprovisional, Shut the Door, which now, because I did include song number one, Joe number one, and Break in my notes, but now knowing the Shut the Door is the actual closer.
Shut the Door is the end. Yeah.
That does
30
make a lot.
minutes of just assault on the senses. That is just amazing. Yeah.
The other thing that I do love about this album, they don't like slam you in the face with guitar. It isn't until Styrofoam where it's really, that's the first time where they really get to shine. They kind of take center stage. There's one, this isn't my least favorite song, but I'm curious. I'll kind of throw this out to everybody and see how they feel. Greed was kind of the biggest big brain song of the record, where they're trying to pull off this like really complex rhythm. It kind of, like, when you get to the chorus, it's like, okay, like, we're kind of there. But it's just, I want to see how everybody else felt about it, because that was the one kind of question mark that I had.
Personally, I really liked Greed.
I thought it was fine.
Okay.
I wasn't. It didn't completely land with me, but I think it's good. But it wasn't one that I was thinking about as soon as the album ended. That it's like, I have to hear that again. And there were those on this album, but it wasn't that one.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Hank. Tell us more about it.
Well, I had definitely heard some Fugazi before, but I don't know if I've ever given this album a listen back to front. I recognize some of the songs though, but I really did like this. This is really good, and it is just so important, and you can just tell, like, it is so measured, and I of course had to deep dive on the lore of these guys. So they have this ethos and these ways, and I love that they're like, no slam dancing, like, we're keeping violence to a minimum. That's so old school, that's so tacky, like, we got to keep each other safe in this world. And you can really tell that in the music, is that it is like angry. It is extremely and objectively angry, but it is not angry at you, the listener. It is like, it is trying to grab your hand and show you where to strike. That it's like, we got to do this together, or we can't do it at all. And there were a lot of songs that just felt so like relevant even still. It's, of course, calling something relevant from 35 years ago is pretty played out these days, because we all know that very little has changed in that time. But it still rings true. And a song like Greed, even if it isn't the song I liked listening to the most, it is a song that is still important and is still worth listening to. And this whole album. The instrumentals are fantastic, and I do think it's really funny that we ended up with 4 of the 5 albums have a full instrumental track, but they could not be more different from one another. That, like, if you were to play all 4 in a row, it would be just, I mean, musical completely fracas potluck, but it would be a very interesting lineup. I thought, yeah, it's smart people playing music for the people by the people, and it really lit a fire. I really enjoyed this one.
So I gotta be completely honest. I was not the biggest fan of this album. I don't. I I think I've just realized that the independent rock of this era, and if I wasn't there to experience it when it happened, I was just never going to connect with it. I just don't really. I just nothing really sticks with me. A lot of the tracks, I'm sorry, Bill, just felt a little samey. I didn't really find a distinct voice, and some of the songs I wasn't really being able to understand, or not really understand, but they weren't really that memorable to me. There were a couple of good songs that I like, which we'll get to, but I just not really my cup of tea, I guess. The way electronic is not for you, this sort of vibe isn't mine. Like what you were talking about with the fact that it's not hard rock, it's not in your face. I kind of love that. But then again, that's not something that people will like. So it's not something that I would say I particularly enjoyed, but it just maybe it was a little too melodic for my liking.
So this is an album that I don't know if I would go back to individual songs, but the album as a whole I loved. I think I've had this once before with you when we talked about Simpatico, where I don't know if I would be able to listen to anything outside of the album experience from top to bottom. And sometimes that's all I need. Like, I don't need to go back to songs just individually, but to have that experience, it is really effective. I loved the instrumentation on this album. I think is just so great because there's like so many things that they're trying to do, but they all still fit them personally. Like the bass lines and the percussion in particular, I thought really stood out with this album. From songs like Brendan One, Civ Fisted Find, Two Beats Off. Two Beats Off being the one I think was particularly interesting when it comes to its instrumentation. And there are some moments like in Merchandise where I think the line is we owe you nothing. But like the title being Merchandise kind of like is the great irony of this song. So I love things like that kind of like really intelligent snobbery. I don't think there's anything I respect more than just like snobbery in a sense where you're outdueling the other person mentally.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of love that.
Yeah, the notes that I had for Merchandise in particular is like musically it did not land, but I appreciate how it's just like a fuck capitalism song.
Yeah.
And these are the ultimate fuck capitalist band. So yeah.
I respect that.
So it's an album that hit all the notes I wanted it to hit, even if I would have to listen to the entirety other than individual songs. But does anyone else have any thoughts on this before we wrap it up? Okay, so Bill, I know this is tough, but I need a score, a favorite song, and a least favorite song.
It's a 9.5. This thing's damn near flawless. So, it is a 30-minute assault that doesn't overstay its welcome. But just musically, it's It's unlike anything I had heard before or since, and this is like 4 people that are just firing on all cylinders and are just fantastic at their craft. Favorite song, oddly enough, is Merchandise. I fucking love that song. Repeater a close second because it's one of the very few sing-along chant songs that they kind of have in their whole discography. But worst is iffy. I would say my least favorite is 2 Beats Off. It's fine. It's just something had to be on there, and I was like, all right. I mean, like, it's not like my favorite thing on there, and that's kind of, but it's still pretty great. It's fine. So yeah. I prefer Ian to Guy, and that's just me, and that's a taste thing. So I'm usually gonna like an Ian song more than a Guy song. So that's just how I'm wired. So,
Brooklyn, let's go to you next.
In honor of Bill, I went with a whole number, and it gets a 9. This is right up my alley. 90s alt rock is my jam, and I would like more, please. My favorite is Brendan number 1. If you remember when we covered Husker Du, I also picked the instrumental. This is also another instrumental. The rhythm carries this entire song, and I just appreciate the musicianship in it, because it can get monotonous, I guess, when you're playing just kind of that same beat over and over again. But I appreciate just how they're pushing through it amongst like everything. Everything kind of over top of it. And I just think as long as you have that solid foundation, everything else really gets to flourish. My least favorite is surprisingly actually the song after Merchandise, which is Blueprint. Of all the tracks, it is the one that kind of it feels like the odd one out. Doesn't really sound like everything else. But yeah, otherwise else, incredible time.
Hank, let's go to you next.
Sort of thing. I think for points, I think I'm going to go with an 8.7 here. I really did enjoy this, and I will be listening to this again, and maybe trying to reach out to some of those spin-offs and bands that spun off into this. For my favorite song, I did really like Repeater, except for me, it always sounded like he was saying Ribena, the black currant drink sold in the UK. 1, 2, 3, Ribena. But my favorite song, interestingly, it's funny. I've got Spotify open here and listening kind of to snippets of the songs as we're talking about them. I had to go back and re-listen to 2 Beats Off when Bill, you said it was your least favorite or the of an album you love. I think that's my favorite. I really like it. I love the kind of chugging line. Like it was, I really enjoyed that one. I did really like Styrofoam too. I thought that was a kick-ass kind of back-to-back. But I think if I had to pick a song that really didn't land with me, it's a little on the longer side for them. And maybe that was just it. It just felt a little different. Civ Fisted Find didn't really do all that much for me, but not in a way that I disliked it. It was just that it didn't add to the experience.
All right. Andrew, your score.
Real quick, Jake gave the score. He gave it a 6 out of 10. So this way we can still do the cumulative score. I'm giving it an 8. Even though I'm maybe on the lower end of everyone else's scores, it's 8 to me is still a great album. It's just one that I'm not going to go to often, but when I do eventually come back to it, it's going to sit like high in my regards. My Brooklyn, I think this is one of the rare times you and I are lockstep in favorite and least favorite song.
Yeah.
Brendan number 1 being my favorite, and Blueprint being my least favorite. So, what does that bring us to, Brooklyn?
You said you gave it an 8, right, Andrew?
A solid 8, yes.
Solid 8. That brings it to an 8.24, which will put us. Where are you? just outside of the top 20, sandwiched in between Carnival of the Animals. Actually, no, ties with Carnival of the Animals. Who wins the tiebreaker there? I guess whoever has the higher rating, which would be where are you? No, it wins. Carnival of the Animals wins the tiebreaker because it does have a 10. And then it is a little bit better than Legacy from Jamila Woods.
Okay, I would agree with that. I like this one better than Legacy. So.
I will say this real quick about the song Repeater. For the longest time, me and my friends would always joke this song was Fajita. And then if you go and listen to it again, yeah, 1, 2, 3, fajita, and it's just it really it's right there. It's so funny. Hey, look, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go to my album next while we're waiting for Jake to come back. Oh god dang it! I needed him for the bit that I was gonna pull, but
well, do we want to do my album first and wait for him to get back?
Yeah, sure, let's do that. So we're gonna go to Brooklyn, your album next. Tell us about Better Late Than Never by the Slackers.
Okay, well, Jake, hopefully you get back time to kind of give your thoughts. But I can't see myself, so I'm not sure if I'm pointing the right way. Am I pointing to Bill?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so 4 of us are in this app called Music League, where we all submit songs based on different themes. This gentleman submitted a song off of this record, which has been my favorite thing that has been submitted by anybody in Music League. Loved the hell out of it. So when he heard that Bill was coming on, I was like, all right, let's bring on this record and see how it goes. Hoping that the song that Bill submitted was not the peak of the album. Unfortunately, that song is the peak of this album. I didn't love it as much as I had hoped, maybe just because I had such high expectations going into it. The first half is a little rough. Work Song is okay, but there's just one thing in the production that I heard, and I just can't unhear it when they're making that initial beat with the horns and the sax. It sounds like something's quacking. With just like I don't know if it's just like the aftermath of like just making the short notes on the sax, but once you hear it, you can't unhear it. This is sooner or later is like when it's kind of starts to pick up. Two-Face, I like the sultry kind of tones of it, and it's just kind of like that's kind of the angsty stuff. I was like, all right, we can kind of get there. Second half, not is pretty good. It's starting to get a little bit better. I liked Prophet. I just liked in general when these guys tried to like tell stories. It's like finding out now that this is from '96 makes a lot of sense because some of it is dated. It's just very like cookie cutter sort of ska at times. We're talking about instrumentals and closers again. Contemplation was another good one. Generally, from an arrangement perspective, whenever they had success is when they had keys, when they had piano. That's kind of when these guys flourished. Our Day Will Come was a nice little treat. Tonight was probably the last one that I'll sort of talk about. They're picking up the tempo in it, but I don't know if they're intentionally trying to be funny with some of their lyrics or if they're trying to be serious. But yeah, curious as to how everyone else, but in particular Bill, since he is the reason that I submitted this.
I'm gonna go last.
Okay. Why not? All right. So, 'cause I feel like I got 2 on this episode. I'm not gonna lie.
I spoilers. I feel the exact same way.
So, all right. I am unapologetically a big fan of ska music. So, and this is one of my favorite ska bands. So I can speak on this album specifically a little bit. When this came out in 1996, you got to understand we are in knee deep in third wave ska. Everything is Less Than Jake. Everything is Suicide Machines. It's Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. We are not getting unstuck from the Operation Ivy movement, which is fine. And I think it's okay. So when Moonscar Records decides to dust off their label and put out a record, and they put these guys out, and my friend was like, "You got to listen to this." I'm like, okay. It's a choice to open up your album with a cover song, but I mean, Herb Alpert knew what he was doing. So picking a Herb Alpert song to rework into a ska song, really, that's quite a mission statement you're making of, we're harkening back to a different time. And really nobody was like, this isn't even second wave. This is all the way back, like first wave. We're talking like Prince Buster, Desmond Decker era, and all the way. And I mean, there's no other way you could drive that home by having like Doreen Schaefer sing on Our Day Will Come, who was one of the singers from the Scatawites, who are like ska royalty. And yeah, I was like hearing Work Song, and then you go into Runaway, which is just this nice chill vibe, and like hearing, I love the hisses and pops added in to make it feel like you're listening to a record. I really appreciate that they did that. Also, it doesn't hurt. They have like one of like who was it? Victor Rice, like reggae mega producer at the time, like producing this record. And there's a lot of great craftsmanship on there. Like everything is catchy. It's fun for me. Like this is an album I truly really do love. But you are like, some of them are serious, some of them are jokes. And Tonight was definitely kind of a joke song. And that's the beauty of like the album. Like there's liner notes that explain where the impetus for the song came from. So each song has like a little background. And it was Dave Hilliard and Vic Ruggiero. They kind of collaborated on it. It was like they were stuck in an airport and they saw Hot Girl, and like they just were like, oh well, what if we like, well, it's only for tonight though, so like it's not like we're ever going to see each other again. And like it builds off that. And I love at times, especially Tonight, because it's Vic, who's primarily the songwriter and singer, and Mark Lynn, who is the other singer, who usually that's all he did was really sing. He didn't play any other instruments. He would do like some bongos or percussions like during live shows, but I always kind of like his voice slightly better than Vic's. Vic's is very, very deep, very almost New Yorky, and they played well on each other when they would do together, and like you would hear it, like they just complement each other so well. It's like, and having a full like horn section. I'm sorry, like I fucking love this. Like it really incorporates a lot of different like ska, but also like really first wave, and especially a lot of like the poppier jazz of the Herb Alpert and stuff like that. Like it all really kind of comes through in this. And there's times when they're having fun and you can appreciate it. There's times when they're slightly serious. And there's one time where I'm like, in retrospect, this was a bad idea. And we'll get into that one when I get into my favorite and least favorite. So I thank you for making me listen to this again. I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it as much as I have over the years. So I will tell you, Red Light's the better record. It's the one right after this.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay.
I can pile on the Slackers love, and I can also completely attest to. I think their kind of next three albums are all a little better than this one. I know them a lot better, but like Have the Time from The Question has been my my alarm song for the last like 5 years. Great way to start your day, some ska. But there's a ton of hits on Red Light. I love Married Girl. I love
Mary Fried Chicken. Oh my God! You could just spit and hit a great song on that record.
There's a ton. There's a ton, and even into Wasted Days. I won't say it's perfect. It's a little long.
Oh, that's really where it starts to go down for me. Yeah.
But yeah, I put it on. But for sure, the first three albums are very solid. This one is the least solid of those three, but there you go. I will say, I really enjoyed the instrumental kind of cover opener. Herb Alpert is great, and to cover him in your style is a bold way to introduce yourself to the world. An even bolder way is to have your third song be called Pedophilia, but I'm sure we'll get to that. I don't know. I felt like the kind of ruggedness of the first half is really good because it does bridge the gap. This becomes a kind of rainbow bridge to the first wave of ska and to when ska predated what we know as reggae. That it's like those were the roots. That ska wasn't always white guys doing reggae. Ska used to be like what reggae was, and
Yeah.
you really get that with I love You Don't Know I. You Don't Know I is very like I was a huge Toots and the Maytals fan. I love Desmond Decker too. It's like that threw it back really nicely, and having the female vocals going with the male lead, is a lot more kind of scraggly, a lot more kind of uh, it has that rougher edge that knew the third wave of ska was fully uh, covered in. I don't know. I really love this album. There are some songs that aren't perfect. Like I said, there are better albums by this band coming out very soon after this one. But I had just a blast, and it really did. It really did feel like I was given a second album because I feel just as passionately about
Yeah.
ska as I do about the album that I put forward. I was wondering, Brooklyn, it's like, have you ever been to one of the many trivia nights that I do? Name that tune ska covers edition. I think
Yes, I've definitely been to one.
Okay, I think I've done 4 at this point, and they just keep coming. As long as Me First and the Gimme Gimmes keeps putting out albums, I will still have a name that tune category for them, and that's my gushing.
That's a pleasant surprise. I forgot that you were a massive fan of ska, so warms my heart to hear that I got basically 2 people on here, second album to
You
to
so
profess our love
did.
to.
You so
Yeah.
did.
I know this was pandering, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Totally okay.
It's only pandering if the person you're pandering to is okay with it.
Yeah,
I mean, you unintentionally pandered to me, I guess, twice with Husker Du and with Fugazi. Just
Okay, I mean,
introducing me to bands that I should already know.
All right. Well, I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah. So. All right, Bar. Let's hear how much you hated it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it that much.
Hey, great.
So Jake's back. Hopefully it's working better for him. Okay. So there are elements of this that I really like. I like the instrumentation. I loved all the instrumental pieces. Like Cuban Cigar, I really, really enjoyed.
It's really the best instrumental. It's so good. I'm sorry.
I probably would agree with that. Some of the songs lyrically are like really cool. And then there are the ones that are like the ones that I get like Big Bag Voodoo Daddy vibes from. That kind of incorporate more swing elements, kind of like almost like big band. And
then don't listen to Wasted Days because it gets worse there. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I think that's Glenn Pine when he joined. He really like, yeah, guys, maybe don't let the trumpet player sing. Maybe don't do that. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like we may lose Jake for the episode. So he's going to send us our scores and all that stuff. There are some songs where I'm like, okay, this is really cool. I'm really vibing with this. Like I really liked Runaway. I liked Two-Face. Sooner or Later. But then there are other songs where I'm like, the sun is getting blocked out by the size of your fedora, man. I wanted to. There was one song in particular. I try to go through every album twice, just so I can get like a fair assessment. And there's one song on this album that I got like halfway through, and I was like, nope. I already know all I need to know about this song, that I don't like it. So I think the other thing that hurts is the production. The mixing is not great. Like sometimes the trumpets kind of get like tooty and
Yes.
fighty.
Yeah.
And sometimes the vocal is a little bit too hazy. Which it's the debut album on an independent label, which I'm not expecting like perfection. Like I'm not, but it was inconsistent enough that it became a problem for me. So like I don't know, man. I wanted to like this better because I love bands like Madness and the Specials and all that. It just didn't land for me the way that I was really hoping that it would. But I seem to be on the on an island for this one. So let's get scores, favorite songs and least favorite songs. Starting with you, Brooklyn.
Okay. Man, it feels weird giving an album that I submitted this low of a score. I'm giving it a 6. Where it shines, it really does shine. But there's some stuff that I'm just like, I'm kind of, I don't want to say bored. I just think that the song that is my favorite, I was hoping that was going to be the entirety of the album, and I think these guys, when they got comfortable, they kind of just sat in ska, and like I like ska is like, I'm trying to think of food wise. Ska is like mayonnaise on a sandwich. There can be too much. There's just the right amount.
Bill is being so judgmental right now.
My silence.
You could have said mild hot sauce. Like
Mayonnaise
Wow.
is just offensive and intentionally so. And but I understand.
But yeah, the song that I've wanted to talk about this entire time is Sarah. Sarah is incredible. I love the mix of the big swing of the ska. Like his voice on it gives it this kind of punky sort of thrashy vibe. I love the call and answer of Sarah in the chorus. My favorite moment of the whole song is when it's like the end of the first line of the chorus, and you get this really sort of like intentionally messy piano, and you hear the cymbals sort of crashing back and forth. I love that. I've been showing like when there's nobody in the restaurant and we're closing down the spot, I put on this song because it's a great little vibe song to get it through, and I like the sort of the story of it, and whatnot. My least favorite, it is already mentioned. It feels weird to say it, but it's pedophilia. Why are we putting the lyrics of the song when it's mostly just solos? I feel like we could have just done anything else. Maybe this is a joke, but yeah, that was the one that kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. That was like we referenced to Do Ron 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 is the song that kind of makes you want to like kind of pull over, like what the hell is going on. That was this for me. I audibly laughed when I heard this song come on.
Hank, let's go to you next.
Right on. I mean, I loved it. It's not my favorite Slackers album, but it is a Slackers album, so that means it's automatically got a pretty high bar. A very early Slackers album too. So I'm gonna go for for a 9. I really love this album, but I'm a huge ska guy, and we gotta back each other up. And on that note, I had to shout out rest in peace, Jimmy Cliff. A very early reggae kind of revolutionary star of, if you want to see some film history, The Harder They Come.
One of the greatest soundtracks ever made.
Absolutely, and a fantastically like quirky independent film. It was the first like major release Jamaica ever made, and it was 1972. Watch it with the subtitles on, or else a lot will be missed. But the soundtrack is fantastic, and Jimmy Cliff himself is fantastic. That being said, favorite song on Better Late Than Never, I have to go Sarah. Sarah is, to me, the best song, so I agree with you there completely. And while pedophilia is crazy, and especially I was really grooving to it in the first 30 seconds, I was like, oh, what's this song called? Oh, Okay. Well, that's interesting. I don't think it's the worst song on the album. And again, this is one where the worst song is the song I like the least. And I don't know, a Prophet just seemed a little. It is a kind of tongue in cheek song. Some clever lyrics, but it is a little drowsy for me. So maybe if we smoked a couple joints beforehand, I'd feel a little differently about it. But as it stands, it's the low point of the album.
Okay. Bill.
9. Sorry. And this is purely on nostalgia of like, this was one of my favorite records when it came out. Like, I played this thing to the nub. It's honestly, it was such a welcome pace in the middle of everything of like, oh, we don't all have to sound like pop punk bands just slapped on like just duct tape a horn section on. So like, we could actually like go back to a lot of different eras of music and groove. And it was a great time. Like, just coming back to it again, like I could listen to this album a million times and it never gets old for me. Especially once you hit like, I'm sorry, Sooner or Later to Treat Me Good is like a fucking run of just like please and thank you for me. So favorite, it's Tonight. I fucking love Tonight. It's both of them singing. You could just tell how much fun they're having doing it. It really comes through. And like, I love that idea of like, it's just for tonight, like this is what we're doing. I know you're gonna leave. Like, it's like, I don't know. I had a blast. While I will agree, Prophet's the weaker song. Pedophilia rubs through the wrong way nowadays. So which is a shame. Yeah. So that's gonna get it because it's a shame. It's actually fun, like musically. You can tell it's a blast. Yeah. And then you hear these lyrics, and I know it's supposed to be tongue in cheek, but like, Jesus Christ, guys, what are we doing here?
A little heavy-handed.
Like, it's a little much. So, like, I don't hate it, but I also really hate it. You know what I mean? It's tough. So that's why that one's going to go into my least favorite. So, yeah.
I'm giving it a 6.8. It's still good. The production issues kept it from being like higher for me. My favorite song is Two-Face. That there was something about the melody in that one that was just so much fun. Like the way that he would just hold Two-Face, like that little extra camp element.
And just the opening bass.
Yeah.
It's like such a groove. It's so good.
It really is. You guys picked the two songs that I would have landed on as the worst as well. Because like a Prophet, just like the way that he sings and like lyrically, I'm like, all right, dude, you're not actually in Jamaica right now. So like, but Pedophilia is one of the worst songs I've ever had to listen to for this show. Because like, it's called Pedophilia because because the woman that he loves is his baby girl. And I'm like, that's
what a tortured metaphor.
That it's tortured.
Remind me to let you listen to a certain song by the Vandals so you can be horrified at some point. Yeah.
Bill, I think.
Oh no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it one day. It's gonna be fun. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no, we're not gonna do that. So Jake is in the middle of typing out all of his scores and stuff for right now. So we'll come back to what the accumulated score is once we get that from him.
Hank, what was your score again, right quick?
Mine was also a 9.
9. Perfect. Okay.
9.
That's funny.
6,
9, 6.8, 9.
9. Nice.
Very good. Very good.
See, I was so tempted to actually give it a 6.9 just for the memes of it all.
I can't believe you didn't want to give it a 6.7.
Wow.
That meme is getting destroyed at
I still don't fully understand what the fuck it is. So I don't.
6-7. There.
I'll explain to you
Our
later.
views
I don't need to
instantly
explain
went
to
up
me.
tenfold.
I don't give a shit.
We're gonna clip that part out. It's gonna be the only promotion that we have for this episode.
That'll be the short, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the short. All right, so we're gonna go to my album next. Ames by Vienna Teng. So I wish Jake was here because this would have been a whole lot better with him. But if there's a two-word phrase that you could describe me as that Jake would know right away, it's pretentious hack. And let's talk about chamber pop. So Vienna Teng is a pop artist from like the early 2010s with a lot of orchestral elements to her songs. So she actually created this album while she was a grad student at the University of Michigan. And aside from like piano and some percussion by her friend Alex Wong, a lot of the sounds, the orchestral sounds, are actually used from a sound library that she was using.
Oh.
And I was not able to tell because this sounds amazing. Like this album, it's such. The best way I can describe this album is I don't come back to this often, but whenever I do, it's like a hug from an old friend that you haven't seen in a while. Because there is just such a warmth and a beauty to this album. Land Sailor sounds like the equivalent of what I would feel like flying sounds like. And her and Glenn Phillips going back and forth on that. They both sound absolutely amazing. Level Up and Never Look Away are such just like great like up-tempo pop songs with like big bombastic sounds to them. But the things that I think is the strength of this album are both Vienna Teng herself as a vocalist and her lyrics, because there is some really empathetic lyricism on this album. It's mostly about travel and why we travel, whether it be for work or to explore and to get to know other people. And so I think that it's an album lyrically that just can like, it's on a deeper emotional level than I think a lot of the other albums that I have brought in the past. This is just like a really stunning album for an independent artist who, as I said, used the sound library for most of the instrumentation. And as I said, you can't even tell. So yeah, I love this album. I'm glad that I got to revisit this one. It's been a while. What is everyone else's thoughts?
I will go last.
That's never a good sign.
Hey, okay.
All right. I'll go first. For a while there, I thought the band was Ames, and I thought the album was Vienna Teng. Because I was like, well, that's a weird name for a band. But fucking, what do I know? I don't want whatever. So I didn't know what this was. And I remember, like, I searched it, I found it, and I pulled up the artist. And when I saw Chamber Folk, I was like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? Because I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is. Here we go. Throw it on. The second Level Up kicks in. I'm like, I'm all in. Yeah. And I found myself really, really enjoying this. Yeah, I think it's a crime against nature. More people haven't listened to this record. It's
the last album she ever released.
Like, dude, what the fuck are we doing as a society as a whole? Like, where Nickelback made 500 fucking records and this one couldn't get airplay. Like, I don't understand. The meritocracy is broken and we have failed as a species.
Oh, Bill, this was her 5th album.
Which I just don't get, because this is just like insanely crafted. Like, there are and the fact that she like did this all of library music, like, that's even more bonkers. I thought only MF Doom got away with that. Turns out, no. Vienna Teng also knew how to dig through all those old records. Jesus Christ. It is so many things all at once. And like, I just like just more and more. I'm like, please keep coming. And there are like a time or two where I'm like, I'm not feeling this one so much. So, but overall, Jesus Christ, like this is a talent we should really appreciate more. Personally, for me, like, I was floored, and then I got sad, and then because it was over, I want to listen to it again. So I kept driving longer than I should have. Just because I wanted to hear 1 or 2 songs again, and then it was the opposite of donkey riding, where I didn't want to pull the car over. So always gonna come back to that one. That's
always money in donkey riding.
Always in my head forever. That and another song with. But anyway, I actually kicked this over to a bunch of like my Musically work friends, and they're like floored. So. Maybe word of mouth will get a little better for this woman, because she clearly deserves it. This is pure talent. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I was blown away.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's not really releasing any albums anymore, but she's like a concert pianist and I think a violinist. So, all right, Hank.
And I mean, listen, I felt very much the same way. It was a real revelation. Someone who I had never, ever heard of, and I really didn't suspect much based off of the album art. It just seemed very like, okay, I know what I'm getting myself into. This is going to be kind of a light, kind of floaty album that isn't going to really stick with me, but I really liked it. There was a lot that I really liked about this. It is, if I was to say one thing that sounds like a backhanded compliment, because it might be, is that it is very of its time. It is very 2013. If you think about kind of the other, especially like female vocalists that were really big at the time, it isn't unlike Florence and the Machine. It isn't unlike those kind of woodsy, kind of whimsical, fey-like tracks or albums, but it please.
I would kind of say it's like almost like Florence and the Machine meets like Dido or whatever her name was.
Yeah, Dido. Yeah, well, it might be.
Or Florence and the Machine, but good.
But
not my thing. I'm sorry.
That's fair. But it was really, there was a time and a place. There was a real moment. And it's like the year after this, Hozier puts out, I think, his debut album. And that's very woodsy, very folksy as well. And this has a kind of a taste of that. But because of that, that sound library aesthetic, it is a lot more, it is more produced and has a kind of identity of its own. It does stand out amongst those kind of bigger names that were doing similar things at the time. But I really loved it, and it is a breeze. I mean, it's less than 40 minutes. I listened to it twice in a day just to kind of heap it on again. And I wouldn't say it's perfect. There were some songs that I didn't love. I don't know, the inclusion of Glenn Phillips and I think her husband, Alex Wong, I believe they're married. I was reading that on their Wikipedia page. I thought it was not as necessary to have a second vocalist, especially when Vienna is such a clean vocalist, such a very compelling. Go ahead.
Not her husband.
Not her husband? Oh my god.
No, but they collaborated a lot.
Okay, all right. Well then we'll give it that. I didn't think that those were as necessary, but I thought the album on the whole was a delight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I-
Brooklyn.
Come on,
It's
Bill.
not-
How
it's
much
not
did you
as-
hate
it's-
it? Let's hear it.
Oh,
It's
by
not
the
as
way,
bad as
you know
it's-
what? You know what? Jake finally got back. Thanks, Bar, for picking a good album for once. It was very good.
Okay.
Also, congratulations. He picked Better Late Than Never as his favorite album. So you
Spoilers. Spoilers. But yeah, I get why you submitted this album, and I get why you like it as much as you do. I'm just gonna go through my experience of this album and a month that we had to prepare for this. It's the first time I threw it on. I threw it on when I was putting my kid to bed. So I think it was kind of like that was kind of the perfect setting. Because I've always envisioned this album is best when you are laying by yourself in bed, but ideally your bed has like the lights underneath it, so you get that nice like neon ambient light. I feel like that's kind of the perfect setting for this. First thing I noticed is that the production is very plain. Nothing stood out that was like, oh, this is Vienna Teng. Second time around, got a lot better. I got the sense of levels up. I get why that's such a great song. And the second half in particular got really good. My lasting gripe after listening to this 2.5 times, basically, her lyrics are very motivational. There's definitely there's this inspiring, this is the most ethereal that I've felt about an album since Sleep Token, but that's ethereal like an entirely different way. It's very spacious, it's very grand. The thing that I want to hear, I didn't relate to the lyric. I wanted to hear, I wanted it to kind of get a little bit more personal. But and having said that, this sounds like a theater album. I want to see this album expanded and hear either some spoken word or some stories in between, because I feel like there is something there.
I want to see
this
with an actual orchestra behind her.
It is such a one-woman musical show. It is 100%. I totally feel that.
No, this can definitely be fleshed out. It just wasn't for me. It needed too particular of details for it to work. We were talking about what to have as the 3 album, because we've always said the 3 album is kind of like the weakest one, and I was debating was either mine or this one, but I'm glad that I'm in the minority for this one, because I know that this genre and the sound has done well in the past, but I haven't been I haven't been blown away by it, and I feel bad.
No, I get it. I get it. It's one that I knew was going to kind of be a risk. I kind of was like, I think Jake will like this. And I've given Jake two albums the last 2 times that he's been on that he did not like. So I was kind of pandering this episode.
Well, we straight up admitted when we made the green room for this, it was like, oh, I'm pandering to Bill. And then you said, all right, well, I'll try to pander to Jake.
So you're welcome, Jake, if you're watching this back. All right, let's get the scores and favorite and least favorite. By the way, Brooklyn, you have Jake's score for Better Late Than Never, correct?
I do. Do you want to announce that now, or do you want to do it at the end?
Let's announce that now.
Now? Okay.
Yeah.
So Better Late Than Never got a 7.84, just edging out Sports from Huey Lewis in the News.
Which is a Hall of Fame album.
Which is a Hall of Fame album, which is still insane. But not quite as good as When a Man Loves a Woman from Percy Sledge, like one of the first albums that we did this season. But it's pretty neat. I have a 3 album barrier, and then yeah, and then it kind of goes on. So
Okay. So I'm going to go first. This is a. I was kind of debating between like an 8.75 and a 9. I'm going to go with a 9. There are 2 songs on the album that I don't love. I think they're good, but I don't think that they quite hit that great element that the rest of the album can hit. My favorite song is Level Up. I wanted to say Land Sailor because how much or Copenhagen, Let Me Go, either or Coming Home. Oh, you know what? Coming Home. No, I'm going to stick with Level Up. That one, there's a grandiosity to that one, and the strings that go off in that are just absolutely incredible. My least favorite song is the hymn of
Axiom. Yeah.
Axiom. Yeah. I like a cappella with that kind of vocoder sound usually, and while it's composed well, it just didn't quite hit for me the way I would have wanted it to. Let's go to Bill next.
I would just like to say it's a fucking crime against fucking nature that Ordinary by Alex Warren is a fucking smash hit, but I've never heard of this woman before this day. So,
Amen.
So fuck you, America. You're dumb. That's how I felt about this. But I know the words to Ordinary. I shouldn't know it because that song is fucking ranch dressing music. It's the most bland shit ever.
Oh my God. It's funny you mentioned
like
that, Bill. Alex
blank
Warren is
slate create a wrestler. That's what that song is, but a song. So
it's funny you mentioned that, Bill. Alex Warren is kind of public enemy number 1 in PEI. He canceled an appearance here like pretty much at the 11th hour.
Yeah,
Canada's right.
To do like a late night show. He's persona non grata out here.
I wish he was persona non grata from like my fucking brain. Anyway,
yes.
But this woman spend a whole lot of time in there. Please, thank you. So I too am going 9. This is fucking stellar shit here. Please, I need more artists like this to just be exposed to the rest of the world. It's fucking great. My favorite song, it's Land Sailor. It's the fucking greatest song Kate Bush never wrote somehow. I don't know how that didn't happen, but fucking this is it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's right there. You could play this next to Cloud Bursting. It doesn't sound out of place.
Holy shit, you're absolutely right.
Absolutely, I know I'm right. My least favorite, God, what the hell? My handwriting some more shit. Hold on. It's the Breaking Light was just it's kind of there. Like, I don't know. It just did nothing really for me, that one. Specifically, I'm just like, when I went through, I'm like, wait, what was that? I was like, oh, that's like, it's just not there for me for there. But other than that, holy shit. I can't believe I like an album with an acapella song on it. Like, that shouldn't fucking work. But it did. So yeah.
Brooklyn?
Yeah, it's getting a 7. Despite being the grumpy old guy, I can respect what is going on. I'm torn between 2 for my favorite. I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll kind of stick with where I'm going. I'll give honorable mention to Never Look Away, but Copenhagen is my favorite. I really liked the arrangement in that one, and I got the most out of the story that she's trying to tell there. My least favorite, in lockstep with Andrew, is Hymn of Axiom. I do not like vocoder. It sounds kind of cheap. And when your whole song is that, it's like it lacks depth. And I feel like with a song like that, there could be more.
So I'm gonna get to Jake's score before I get to you, Hank. So Jake's giving it an 8.2 out of 10. If you know Jake Marangoni, you know that he and Michael Campbell have a certain affinity for an Imogen Heap song, which is why I am not.
You mean the Imogen Heap song?
The Imogen Heap song, yeah.
Like, is there a second? No.
Which is why I am not shocked in the slightest. In fact, I probably could have called this that his favorite song is the Hymn of Axiom. That just makes way too much damn sense. His least favorite song is actually the other song that I was referring to, which is The Breaking Light, which I will speak to that for him. That one's kind of the sleepy song for me. It sounds pretty, but it's the one that just doesn't click in my brain, like any element of it. So, Hank.
It's sort of like Fruit Stripes gum. You eat it, but it's lost its flavor after like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's there and it's gone. I can agree with that. It isn't my least favorite. First, my score. I'm going to give this a 7.8. It's a very solid album that I will listen to again, but it wasn't like it didn't completely floor me, knock me on my ass. I did really like it though. Favorite song, one that we haven't even mentioned. I really liked In the 99.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed In the 99.
The first 3 songs of this record are like a fucking oral in the best way possible. Yeah.
And I really felt like that was the song most playing against kind of the type that I was talking about, that 2013 Fae-like woodland creature, which I really appreciated. It was messy. It was kind of choppy. You have to listen close if you want to hear all the very interesting, very well-written lyrics. And then I think on the other end, I'm going to agree with you guys. The Hymn of Axiom was a real low light for me. It's the one of the longest songs. It's a bit of a drag, and that I feel is very much playing most to the type at the time. That it felt very kind of, I have to put this in here. It reminds me a lot of the Staves, who had just put out their debut album the year before. They're really good, and they don't have that vocoder on it. So it's like, wow, even if you removed that, I might have found more to love about it. But as it stands, that song would be a skip on any future re-listen.
All right. So, Brooklyn, what does that bring this cumulative score to?
Just before, you gave it a 9, correct?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. Okay, so that does give it a score of 8.2. Not by 0.04, not quite as good as Repeater, but you are better than Legacy. So,
nice.
Currently...
Me and you, buddy!
Yeah!
Yay!
All right. All right. So, Hank, we're going to close off with you. Tell us about Head Down.
Well, all right. I listen. Rival Sons. They are a rock group that I've seen a few times. I've seen them open for Black Sabbath a couple times, as well as watch them on their own a few times. Their this album came out when I was, I think, 15. Which, don't look those dates up. I'm a lot younger than I sound, and a lot younger than I feel in my bones when I wake up in the morning. But that album really just kind of caught the very new to the land of listening to music that your dad doesn't listen to. And it felt like I'm taking this big step forward in kind of crafting my own musical identity in terms of what I listen to. It's just a loud, like bluesy, which I'm a huge blues fan. Bluesy, it's very Zeppelin, it's very Doors, but I'm not a huge Zeppelin or Doors guy. I don't dislike them, but they're just not in my pantheon. Thank you. But I think that I like what they're doing with it. I think Jay Buchanan has a fantastic singing voice and can really just wail too when he wants to. And on some of the earlier albums, he pretty much wails on every song. So he's shown a little bit more restraint on this one, but he still kind of lets it all hang out. I thought Scott Holiday is a a really fabulous guitar player. I think that the band is tight. I think their songs are good. They're kind of dreamy. It's a long listen. It's got good stories in all of them. I don't necessarily think this is their best album, but this is the one that I wanted to bring to you guys as a, like, this was my introduction. This is now your introduction. You can go in either direction. They have 2 previous albums and a bunch of albums since. If you like it, go your own way. But I wanted to show this one off. I love this album.
I'll start with this one. This was an album of 2 different sides for me. The first half of the album, I liked for the most part, even though every once in a while there was a song that I was kind of just like, because it would be like, yeah, I'm a wild animal, baby, but I'm a freak in the sheets, and I'm like, okay.
It's a little, yeah. It's. I can see the what our other friend said, and it's like, yeah, I don't disagree with that.
It didn't directly give me this vibe, but I kind of was like picking up like All the Wrong Reasons era Nickelback, sort of.
Really?
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then once Jordan hit, the album, I think, kind of course corrected itself and snapped back into the place that it should have been. Because from Jordan on, I really loved this album. I thought that the writing became a lot more interesting with songs like The Heist, Manifest Destiny, Part 1 and 2, True. Is it Nava? I think
is the instrumental, yeah, and it is just the instrumental backing of True, but a few tracks before.
It's still absolutely beautiful to listen to, either with or without the lyrics. The instrumentation got a little bit tighter. The guitars sounded they really started to sound a lot better, and they became much more interesting to me. The vocals, I think, were a little bit better. So the first half, maybe 1/3 of this album, it kind of was, to me, sounded like, okay, I could be listening to like El Camino era, like Black Keys or Alabama Shakes or something like this. But then, as I said, once you hit Jordan, that's when I went, oh, that's who these guys are. I like these guys.
I'll go next. For Bill or Andrew, had you guys heard of this band before the show?
I had heard the song True before, but I didn't know who it was from.
Okay, interesting. So when you submitted the album, I hadn't a clue who it was, and then as soon as I heard "Keep on Swinging," I'm like, oh, I've heard these guys before. I thought these guys were Canadian with the amount of radio play that they got. Longtime listeners may remember. I had a guy out here. His name was Joey Adams. He used to host the local radio station here, and I think he championed these guys. Keep on Swinging, Until the Sun Comes Up got a lot of radio play, and then actually, like, my favorite song of theirs comes later. I think it's from 2019. Do Your Worst. Just a great blues rocky sort of song. This album, there's a lot of influence. It kind of wears it on its sleeve at times. Wild Animal just reminded me a lot of like Detroit Rock City sort of Kiss, which I thought was cool, because I think especially when this album came out, there's a lot of interesting things kind of happening with rock. I think there was a ton of influence from the 70s. I look at like Sheepdogs, who were kind of doing like the Allman Brothers, sort of the highway rock sort of deal. And then you have these guys in July Talk, among others, that are like, we're really going to do like hard rock blues, and kind of go with Led Zeppelin. among others. Andrew, you mentioned Black Keys. Until the Sun Comes Up sounds like something Dan Auerbach produced. Sounds like something that Black Keys would perform themselves. I looked though because I wanted to see if they were from Canada, and then I learned that they were from California. I forgot the name of the producer though. The producer that worked on this also worked with like Chris Stapleton, Jason Isbell, a couple other people, and I hear
Dave Cobb,
David Webb,
Dave Cobb,
Dave Cobb, yeah. Keep on Swinging. The guitar look in that sounds like something off of a Chris Stapleton record, which I think is great. Jordan is just really nice, pretty ballad rather. Heist and True, I think that's where they get the best vocals, and I think that's where they kind of stand out as a band. It's not my least favorite, but my gripe with this album, and it's weird because these long jammy songs are usually right up my alley. I didn't love Manifest Destiny Part 1 and 2. That's where I started to notice the length, especially with the groove. I didn't find that initial groove interesting enough for it to kind of be the backbone of the song. If I could go back in time and if I had complete control of this album, I would honestly, I'm debating on swapping out True and putting it before Manifest Destiny, and then kind of crunching.
No, I disagree.
Yeah, so it's either taking
disagree.
True into that section and combining it all, or just taking Neva and Manifest Destiny and crunching that down into just like a 7-minute song. I feel like if those parts were shortened down, I would have a better time with it. But like the first half is really good. I quite enjoyed it, especially like Run from Revelation. I liked the wail on his voice, and it's like that CCR sort of jam, that slow sort of grind to it. But yeah.
Bill, I see you waiting patiently up there in the corner.
No problem. So, fun fact about me, I actually hate Led Zeppelin. How about that?
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
There we go.
Well, I think the Doors are the most overrated band of all time. So
They're fine.
I'm with Bill. They're fine.
It's fine. They're an okay band with some beat poetry. It's okay. Whatever. So this, what about me? This kind of rock usually isn't my kind of thing. Not that I don't appreciate it. It's just, I don't know. I never quite kind of got into it. And so I was throwing this one on, and I had the opposite problem of you, where I really enjoyed the first half of this record. I was like, oh, this is okay. This is just fun. I get it. I get the vibe it's going for. And then Jordan hits, and that is a 6-minute slog of a song for me. And the back half of this album loses me, where I'm like, everything's just so long and taking forever, and it just dragged for me to where when I re-listened to it, I just re-listened to the first half, and I was like, fucking Jesus, I could have listened to this. It's just, I mean, it's not reinventing the wheel, but it's just a good time, and sometimes it's all you need. And especially because my favorite song on this album was in that first half, where I was like, I could understand the appeal of this. Fucking Manifest Destiny is that's a long time. I feel like I made it to the new world by the end of it. Like the settlers.
That's exactly. It's a journey. You might get sepsis while you're on this journey.
I feel like yeah. But I mean, overall, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's top heavy for me. I did enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else. Like I said, this is not usually a genre that speaks to me personally, but I got the fun of the first half. I just wasn't feeling the back half of this. So,
that's so with this album. Just to throw my parting thought is I was trying to tank my score from the last one. I was too high on the last one, so I said I'm doing one for me. And this one's just going to be my dirty butt rock that I grew up on, that is like huge in my heart. But this is so a side A, side B. And if you liked side A, listen to the 2 previous albums before this one. And if you liked side B, listen to the albums after this one. It is a real transition. And Jordan, I think, really marks that kind of departure from the fun, hey, let's do a Kiss song and just see what that sounds like, to a let's do ayahuasca and kind of see a space lizard, which is kind of where their future albums go, especially their next one, Great Western Valkyrie. If you didn't like the second half of this album, buddy, you gotta strap in. It is a jaunt. But if you liked the second half of this one, you'll really love that next album. But no, I don't disagree with most of what you guys said. I was very curious to see what a fresh set of ears would have to say.
Considering I gave Metamodern Sounds and Country Music a 10 out of 10, I'll take Space Lizard. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Absolutely. Well, then carry on. Go forth, young man.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Hank, what is your score, your favorite song, and your least favorite song?
My score for this one, I'm going to go for an 8.9. It's almost there, but I agree. It does meander in a few parts. Favorite song for this one, I do love The Heist, but I think if we're talking this back half is a slog, the one that goes by quickly for me is Three Fingers. I really love that song, and it just punches through. And then you get to dive into the real muck of the second half that I do like, but it can be mucky. That said, least favorite song, I think You Want To is just not a memorable song really in any way. This is an album I've listened to 100 times, and I know all the words, but I don't know if I could sing You Want To you right now. So I'm going to put that one at the bottom.
All right, I'm going to read Jake's score and his quick thought. He gave it a 5.9 out of 10.
That's ruthless. That's tough.
Felt like a melodic bar music on a Wednesday night, he says.
A Wednesday. Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of these songs I could play at work.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough.
His favorite is Keep On Swinging, and his least favorite is Run for Revelation. I'm actually going to echo his least favorite. Run for Revelation was also my least favorite as well. I'm going to go backwards with this. My favorite song was The Heist. That was the moment, like everything clicked. Lyrics, vocals, music. Like that's the moment that everything kind of went, oh, no. This is the album you're listening to now for me. I said 8 is kind of like my mark for like great. Like that's the benchmark number for me. So this is at a 7.8. That first half to 1/3 of the album kind of weighs the other half down just enough to keep it from being like that high for me. Let's go to Bill next.
So I'll give it a straight 7. The stuff that hit. The stuff that didn't for me. But like overall, I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just not my cup of tea personally. That having been said, the best song on here is Until the Sun Comes, honestly. That is, and I mean this in the most like complimentary way, a completely out of time song. Like I feel like this could have came out with the Black Crowes in the 90s, it wouldn't sound out of place. Could have came out in the 70s, wouldn't sound out of place. Like this is craft well done. Like, and I really enjoyed that one. It's one of the few in this album that really like stuck with me afterwards. My least favorite, I'm going Jordan because that's the beginning of the end for me. Like I'm just like, it's 6 minutes and it feels like it. And I'm like, and then it's just where it stops for me, like personally. But overall, I didn't hate it. it was not my thing, but there was stuff I enjoyed, and what I enjoyed, I really enjoyed. So,
All right. And Brooklyn.
Okay, I am giving this an 8.2. I did like it. The influences that these guys have are bands that I enjoy, so that is going to work. And I did kind of cut these guys a little bit of slack because I do know that they get more of a prominent sound later on. I'll do my least favorite first because I'm still not even sure what I want to pick for favorite. My least favorite is All the Way. I think, yeah, Hank, that was the one you were saying you couldn't like hum it out if you tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think it's because of the bass line. When this song played, all I could sing was "She's some kind of wonderful," because that's
Yeah, I did write down
Oh, yeah.
All the Way. All the Way is like a blend of it's the one note I had to write down. I said All the Way is like a blend of Spirit in the Sky and Bad Company.
yes, and because whenever they do the I got to watch somebody do this before, and what happens is they're basically like, not, for lack of a better term, like knob muting. They're taking the volume knob on the guitar and just kind of turning it off and on to kind of give that effect as it fades out. But yeah, my favorite, I want to keep it with "Keep on Swinging." I just really like that lick. I think it's well fleshed out, and it's probably my favorite chorus of the bunch. But I would also give love to "Three Fingers" because I think that was just kind of like a nice, like, turn your brain off sort of song. Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So, Brooklyn, what's that bring the total score to?
That brings the total score. There you are. 7.56. Just above another album that you submitted, Andrew, The Juice Volume 1, but not quite as good as Begin to Hope from Regina Spektor.
Okay. So,
That's good
let's
company,
wrap this.
yeah.
Let's wrap this up real quick. We're gonna pick our favorite albums that somebody else brought. Jake sent in his answer. He picked "Better Late Than Never" by the Slackers. Brooklyn, let's go to you next.
It is going to be Repeater. If you are a bass player, listen to this album.
Okay. Bill, what was your favorite album?
you brought it. Yeah, I love that. I'm going to be listening to that a few times. So
I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy. I'm so happy about that. Hank, what was your favorite album?
I'm not going to count "Better Late Than Never" because that was a song I already
yeah,
knew.
that's
That is my
it's
favorite
funny
of
enough.
these
It was
songs.
like I only counted the two because I heard 3 of the 5 before, so I was like between the two, this one easy.
And I will go with the Fugazi. I will go Repeater +3. I thought that was really fantastic, and that is in the lineup for sure.
Well, unfortunately, Jake keeps Repeater out because that is also my pick. So it just misses the Hall of Fame.
Put it in there anyway. It's fine.
We've got rules and standards, Bill.
What if I just flip
I
you a
love a rule.
20?
If you give me $20, almost anything can happen.
Yeah.
What if it was a $20 credit to? What if it was a $20 credit to Popeyes?
Well, Bill.
Okay.
I mean, like, just to make sure that he's spending his money at a good place at the king of fried chicken.
We'll put it in the Hall of Fame in its own little wing once we get the gift card for our little wings. So with that being
I
said,
think like if any album deserves the Hall of Fame, it's fucking Fugazi's Repeater. So.
I agree. But Jake, you gotta blame Jake.
No,
right,
it's fine. Yeah.
With that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really happy to have y'all here. A few announcements real quick before we go, because I know this is a long episode, but it is the finale.
Yes, yeah.
So next season, first of all, we are taking a little break. So the month of February will not have an episode. We want to have a life. We wanna
Come
enjoy the
on.
holidays.
Tell
We
you
wanna-
what. Let me host an episode for you. Let me pick the paddle. Let me do it.
You know what, Bill? I'll take you up on that offer.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So we will get that worked on.
Sure.
Hey, we don't miss a month.
It'll be a one-time only thing. So you guys get your break, but we still get one, and I'll bring in some fucking jerk-offs.
The reason that we take a break is that as long as I've been in the community, I know how hard it is to get recording done in December, given that everything else in the community is kind of wrapping up for the year.
We will get this figured out, however. This is too good of an opportunity to turn down.
Sure.
Another piece of announcement for season 3, we will be going to 4-person panels. We were not doing 5 people anymore after Bill's episode. However, in either the video store chat or the multiplex chat, we're going to have to discuss this.
Both? Probably both.
Probably both. We will be putting up a poll of 4 classic albums that you will get to vote on and decide what the 5th album in the episode will be. The poll will have already gone up. However, we already know what the choices are. The 4 albums that you will have chosen from to be the 5th album that we talk about for first episode of season 3 will be What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, Nevermind by Nirvana, Things Fall Apart by The Roots, and Back to Black by Amy Winehouse. So one of those albums will be discussed on episode 1, season 3 of the Turntable. So, once again, Bill, Hank, thank you so much for joining us.
Fucking Jake.
I was about to say we also want to thank Jake Marangoni for having joined us as well.
Sure.
And so, guys, we'll see you in the next episode, the Bill Carriola episode.
Yeah.
And keep on rocking.
Sorry. I just want to say a couple things for you, because it is the finale. One, first of all, go check out Hank's Instagram at Falwell Films. Since we last had him on, he started doing movie reviews. So please go check those out.
We will put that in the description of this episode.
Yes, but also just wanted to go over the top 5 albums, I guess, from this year. I kind of want to keep it a tradition as to have, because we had Hank on because he had the high score last year. Kind of announce them, see who will kind of get that spot for when to do this next November. So number 5 was the Eagles' greatest hits album. Number 4, Metamodern Sounds in Country Music, which is crazy because both of those came from last episode that we recorded.
Last episode.
Yeah, which is crazy. Number 3, Bad Out of Hell. Number 2, Hall of Fame album, Post by Bjork. And number 1, call it pandering, call it picking that low-hanging fruit. But Rumors from Fleetwood Mac got the high score from last season, so that means Cody. Cody will be on for the next one.
So where did 24-hour revenge therapy end up?
Number 6.
Fuck you.
5.08. You can blame Cody and submitting a greatest hits album that bonded Andrew and I.
Yeah.
Well, Bill,
so in my episode,
I was about to
will
say,
be no fucking greatest hits, or you bid me a fucking record.
All right, guys, join us for Bill's episode next. Once again, thank y'all for watching this year. Keep on rocking.
Drive safely.